Before my husband started dental school, I was constantly trying to imagine what our days would actually look like. How often would we actually see him? What would family life look like? What things would change? Now that we've been living this life for a year, I thought it would be fun to show you guys what a normal week looks like for us during summer semester. Obviously, with it being summer, my kids are out of school, but my husband has already started for his summer semester. School is early and the kids wake up early. We wake up typically anywhere from 5:30 to 5:45. It is really important for my husband and I to start our day and work out together. Sometimes if my husband has stayed up really late for something, obviously it's hard to get up at that time, but that is what we shoot for, is 5:30, 5:45, get in a little bit of a workout. After our workout, my husband will start getting ready, get dressed, make himself breakfast, all of those things, and I'm kind of soaking in my last little bits of peace before the chaos of all of the kids. Then I'll typically get them up around the time that their dad's getting ready to leave, that they can say their quick hellos and goodbyes, and he is out the door by about 7:30 in the morning. And then as far as our day-to-day life, for me, mine is fairly normal to what it has been. There's always lots of cooking to be done and cleaning and breaking up fights, especially during the summer, and it's just full mom mode. This summer in particular, I'm trying to be very intentional with how we spend our time. I no longer am pregnant or have a very tiny baby, and so I'm starting to come into my own again, feel like myself again, and trying to do the things that I've always wanted to do. But again, being pregnant or having a little baby, it's very hard to do those things. And just simply having 5 kids in general, it's hard to get out and do things. It can be very tiring. It takes a lot of effort just to do very simple, basic things. Something as simple as a doctor's appointment and having to take all of them really is a sight to be seen. It is a lot of work, a lot of effort. It is exhausting. But I'm trying to be very intentional this year about how we spend our time, how we spend our summer, and trying to break up the routine and get out of the house more. So what we have now, and it seems to be working fairly well, is we have one outside dedicated water fun day with the cousins. One day that we get out of the house. So that could be going to the mall, going to the library. This past week we went to an indoor play place with the kids and had so much fun doing that. And then the third thing that we're trying to do each week is have one day dedicated to going to eat lunch with their dad at the school. Obviously though, this is something that I have to be very careful and mindful with. Something as simple as taking 5 kids to an indoor play place can be very expensive. So we're trying to balance paid activities or paid fun with free, leaning more towards the free, obviously. So something that we always thought about, and when I was thinking about like what our life would look like, what a normal week would look like, I knew that we would not have very much time with my husband, with the kids, spending time with their dad. I knew that the time would be limited. Obviously, I did not realize how limited it would be. So obviously, we're always looking and creating our own opportunities for connection. So for example, going and eating lunch with him, that's really fun. The kids enjoy it. It's nice to like be in his element. His day is obviously very packed, very full, very busy, and to kind of like break that up but still in his element and in his zone is really good for everybody. And then also this past week had an event at the school. So the school will put on events or like specifically for families or couples, some that are for everybody. We try to go to as many as possible because not only does it kind of give us a good excuse for dad maybe not to spend the whole evening studying and we get to see him, and again, be in his element, kind of bring the kids so that they see like, yeah, this is where dad is all the time. This is what he's doing all the time. But it's also a good way to maintain that connection with other families that are going through the same thing. There's always a wife that I'm chatting with while we're there, or meeting new people that I've not been introduced to before. So it is really good to not only like have extra time with my husband, but also just staying engaged and connected with the other families. And then some other things that we try to be really intentional about doing are family movie nights or game nights. So a lot of times what we do during the semester is we'll trade off like date night Friday and then family night Friday. Just trying to essentially like nurture and keep that connection with him. Obviously, I can do movies or games or things like that anytime with them, but really trying to be intentional about their dad being there for those things. So obviously some parts are still very difficult, even a year out. My husband is gone a lot, and so it's very different than a 9 to 5. Obviously I wasn't expecting it when I would like sit there and imagine. I wasn't imagining that it would be just like a 9 to 5. We did think that he would be here a lot more than he is. So we thought, okay, yeah, it's kind of like a regular job, like 9 to 5, but then there's some studying in there, of course, but he has gone a lot. So like I said, we'll leave at like 7:30. He comes home for dinner and then typically he'll go back. That means, of course, that most of our time is spent without him. Most of the times it is just the kids and I. Obviously, if there was an event or an emergency, heaven forbid, or something like that, which we have had, it's not a huge deal, for me to call my husband up and be like, hey, like I need you to not study tonight because this just happened or whatever. So not that he is completely unavailable, but for the most part it is, I really do my best to respect that he needs to be where he's at. For my husband's class, between first semester and second semester, there were 8 that either remediated and they're restarting in the fall, or they were completely dismissed. So that's like 10% of his class that were not continuing with the rest of everybody else. That naturally has my husband very freaked out. It's very important for him to be where he is, and I fully understand that and respect that and want him to do well, want to see him succeed and feel confident in what he's doing. While it is very hard for us, I understand that it's crucial and it's necessary. I think the hardest part of that though, seeing the kids struggle with it, seeing them emotional and sad and missing their dad, that is very hard. It is emotionally harder than I thought to support and be there for someone or 5 someones when you yourself have a hard time and you yourself are lonely and missing them and wishing that they were there and they can't be. It's hard to be that support person and that rock for people that need you to be that for them. Evenings are definitely a lot quieter and lonelier than I thought that they would be. And solo parenting is hard, and doing bedtime routines alone is hard. And I don't think that those things get easier to do by yourself when all you want is to not do them by yourself. But it is what it is. And I try to keep myself busy and occupied, and didn't necessarily imagine that would look like editing videos or reading on the couch by myself at night or whatever, but that is what it is. And I just do my best to keep myself busy because that has not gotten easier. And I just keep myself occupied and don't think about it because it's easy to dwell on it if you're not careful. Dental school is not our whole life, but it is his whole life, really. Like, yes, us and everything else that we're doing too, but like really and truly, he is so much more consumed by school and studying and doing well than I had originally anticipated. Really, the best way that I could think to explain it, I didn't realize that our life, like me and the kids, would still feel normal, but it would almost feel like we were living separately from him. Our lives intercross or interject like at certain points, but they're kind of separate, and we have to look for those moments to like intentionally make our paths cross or something like that. I thought that it would take a little bit more of a backseat to our life. I just thought that it would feel more like we were at the center, and dental school is definitely at the center, and then we're kind of sprinkled around. So I think for the kids and I, especially since I've kind of in some ways like removed myself, or I try not to be like fully immersed in his stuff. I don't know how to explain it, but I try to kind of just really focus on my life with the kids. And when he's there, we enjoy it and we love it and it's wonderful. And if he's not, it's okay. And we just do our thing and just make the best of it. As where in that first semester, I think it was so rough because I couldn't make the best of it because he wasn't there. It was like I was constantly fighting the desire for him to be there and be included and be just as present. And I think when I finally like just released that and let it be what it actually was, it got a lot better. The days absolutely pass so stinking slow, but I will say like now being here a year, it does surprisingly feel like it went pretty fast, which is crazy because the first few months literally felt like eternity. But now looking back, I'm like, oh wait, like actually, was that even that bad? It was that bad. It really was that bad, but it just looks so much different now. It still does not look how I thought it would before we came here a year ago. When I envisioned what our life would look like, it definitely does not look like that, but it is starting to feel more like our new normal. And I do feel like I've adjusted well, like we've started to adjust well and we know what to expect. I know for me, before we started, I had tons of questions that nobody could really answer, and I couldn't fully picture what life would look like. Hopefully this video helped put some of those pieces together for you. It's not always easy, of course, and every family's experience will be different, but this is what our reality looks like a year into the journey. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. If you are getting ready to start school here in the next couple of months, congratulations, good luck, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. I'll see you in the next one.